Welcome to RC Pilot Hangar, and I've got another RC pilot here, Ken, and he is really into EDF jets. And so Ken, tell me how long you've been flying.
I started about 8 years ago. Started off with just a little FMS Cessna 182. It was a birthday present from my wife. Went out, hooked up with Butch, looking through the AMA stuff, and found a local flying field, hooked up with Butch, and him and Linda both gave me some really good flying lessons, and did a lot of simulator stuff, which helped me a whole lot. But other than that, it's just taken off from there.
Okay, so you started with the Falcons field here in Lake Dallas?
I did.
Okay, in Texas. So great. And who got you to learn how to fly? I mean, did they kind of help you, or you just kind of learned on your own? Or?
I did a lot of simulator stuff before I got a hold of Butch, but honestly, Butch and Linda really helped me out. And then a lot of the guys at the field, Keith and Mark and Jim and some of the other guys who aren't in the members anymore, but they were really instrumental in teaching me a lot of
Did it take you a while to learn how to fly?
Not really. I would say the simulator really helped me a lot.
Okay. Which simulator were you using?
Real Flight.
Real Flight. Okay.
So that was very instrumental. I do highly recommend for anybody that's wanting to get started in it. I think it's a great way to start. The biggest thing for me, learning the hard way, was the CG of an airplane, which really never thought much of it, and orientation.
So you never flew when you were younger, so you didn't start till...
I did something like with the Cox, the single, the little control lines.
Okay.
And that lasted for about 2 or 3 tries, and then I was done for a while. So
all right.
Didn't end well.
So the first plane was a prop plane, I would assume. That's what you had said. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. So Ken is really known for EDFs. He flies a lot of EDF jets now. So how did you work your way up into getting an EDF? I mean, you're a really good flyer flying with the EDF. So, I mean, what took you to get to that next?
I was going to say that I think it was Jim who brought the first F-86 EDF out to the field, and after he got it, Mark got one, and it just kind of grew from there. But I've always been fascinated with jets.
With the jets.
A lot of warbirds and the jets and stuff like that. So after that, I got one and kind of learned the hard way, of course.
So what was your first EDF?
My first EDF, I have to say, was a HSD 75 millimeter Viper jet.
Okay.
A great little airplane. They don't make them anymore, but that was actually my first EDF, and it just kind of grew from there. So it was a great flying airplane.
So how long did it take you to get in the EDF? I mean, so you were flying the prop for maybe a couple years before you got in the EDF?
I did. Yeah, probably a couple years. I did the Cessna. I have a Mustang, and I did some other, like a Fly Zone Beaver, and I had some others that I did, and just kind of got real proficient with that, and took that proficiency and then put it into an EDF. And it's definitely different a little bit, but I really like the speed and just the coolness of the jet.
So the EDFs that you have, your collection EDFs you have now, how many do you think you have?
Probably about 25.
25 EDFs.
25 to 30 EDFs.
And large ones too.
Yeah.
He's got some dual EDF motors as well.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit more, a little bit kind of, where do you see yourself going into larger EDFs? Do you think you ever get into the turbine type planes, or?
Turbines are cool, but I just, there's a lot of expense and the fuel and everything else.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's for me. But plus, you can't really just go fly anywhere. You have to go to specialized places. So the EDFs to me are, I hope to see that maybe it gets a little bit better time-wise for the EDFs. I mean, the time flying for us is about 3 to 3.5 minutes in most cases. I hope the battery technology and everything else gets a little bit better, so we get a little bit longer flying time. But other than that, it's easy. You just charge your batteries, go and fly, and you're done.
Yeah, I know that's the best thing about electrics.
So there's not a whole lot to mess with that. So I don't know. I mean, I might get into some of the bigger EDFs. The biggest I have is the 105 EDF. I've flown 1 or 2 of those before.
So is that 105 mean the millimeters? Is that what you're saying?
It is.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a single EDF, but it's one of the big ones. And some of that same manufacturer is doing some in the 120 millimeters.
Oh my gosh. So what does it take to run 120 what did you say, 105?
105.
Yeah.
That's 2 6S 5000.
Oh my gosh.
In parallel.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's a lot of power.
it is.
Yeah, and you probably only get 3 or 4 minutes of flight time
Same
on
thing.
it.
Yeah,
Even with
exactly.
those big batteries.
So yeah, you burn through batteries real quick on
Yeah.
that. So they're very power hungry.
So are most your EDFs, are they like ARF planes, or have you built any from like a kit? Or
most of them are ARFs. There is one that I guess when I started back here years ago, me and Keith took on a project and ordered 6mm foam, and we actually built our own F-14.
Oh, wow.
With a swing wing and everything else, and that was my first introduction to actually scratch building.
Okay.
So, but that was very instrumental, very learning experience. So.
Yeah. So are you planning on doing more of those? Or
we probably will in the
Okay.
future here. You know, that was kind of a winter project for us, and I think we probably put about 60 hours into it.
Wow.
It was a very time-consuming deal, but I learned a lot. So
Yeah.
it's very.
Now, you know, I looked in his hangar here. You can see all his planes are all neatly put up on the wall here. I mean, I visited a lot of hangars, and this one's pretty cool and nice and clean, and it's just, and he's able to still pull 2 cars into his garage. So how long did it take you to build all this stuff? Or I mean, how is this built? Is this just like hooks that you've got
It
up
is.
here?
It's just tracks that are anchored to the wall, and then adjustable little hangers with the foam on them. So, you know, I've always reconfigured a little bit depending on what I've got going on, or if I add or take away. It's definitely customizable depending on what I've got.
So are all your planes like back here, and then he's got some more on the other side here?
Yes, sir, they are.
And he's got a rack that he built up here, and he's got several up on top as well.
Those are the real big ones, and I usually keep the bigger ones up top. They just take up a lot of room.
Wow. Now, Ken has a YouTube channel, and I'll also put that link below in the description you're doing, tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
you guys got to go and look at it, and tell me a little bit. And it's a unique thing that you're doing.
Right. Well, me and my buddy Keith here, we usually kind of go out and fly together, and we had a couple of models here where it was, you know, whether, you know, we're having issues trying to get it to fly right or get it dialed in and everything else. So we came up with the idea of fly or die. So it's, you know, we'd go out there, okay, well, it's fly or die time. So there was a couple of things, and that just kind of sparked something in me where I thought, maybe we ought to just create a channel called Fly or Die RC. So it's basically unedited video of us attempting our maiden flights on something, and our basic deal is either it's fly or die, and we've had a few go either way. So
Wow.
hopefully most of them are successful. We've had a few unsuccessful, but the whole thing is really to put it out there unedited and let them see the raw footage.
So do we have on the YouTube channel, do you get to see some of the die ones on there?
I put some of the older ones here too that I used to film with my camera, just, you know, some other stuff even before I started this. So I think there's an ME-262 twin 70mm that went into the ground with a bad connection. There's a couple others that have gone in there. So, and there's also some real good ones here too. And I try to do it with like any of their new planes that they're flying, like Chris or Keith or myself. And I'm usually always got a GoPro on my hat when I'm out there flying.
Okay, so
it's usually pretty raw footage.
great. So check out his channel. You'll have to look at some of his flights, and they're a lot of fun. So we got a couple of his planes here that this one was scratch built, and this one is also scratch built?
It was scratch built.
Okay, and I've got a small EDF. That's pretty cool the way this one's made.
This was actually set up to be a prop, very much like one of these here, where the prop would go pretty much right here.
Okay.
And we've got a few that we've done. I don't know if I still have any more, but we did quite a few of these. The prop's kind of in the middle. It's kind of a pusher prop.
Wow.
We had the idea of taking one of the smaller EDS from something and put it in and just give it a shot and see how well it flies. And it flies okay. It's nothing spectacular, but it's actually functional.
So are we flying this one just with elevons, or this would be not elevons? This would be. It is
elevons, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Or tailerons, I guess.
Tailerons. That's what I was saying, because elevons are
Correct.
normally up in the front with ailerons.
Tailerons.
Tailerons. So wow, I have not seen this one, so I'll have to check this one out if you ever bring it out
there
to.
again. I haven't flown it in a while. We haven't painted or anything else. It's just
I like this one. This is really, really cool.
out
This
pretty
is something I need to add to my collection. So tell me about this one here.
So this is the one I was talking about that me and Keith one winter did a scratch project, and this was all out of just 6mm foam. It's all in sheets. We had to basically form it, layer it, sculpt it, and everything else. And this turned out to be pretty cool. This is also a pusher prop. It has tail runs just like that one does here too. But one thing nice about this one, it actually has a swing wing.
So is that swing wing controlled through your transmitter
Right,
to
so
bring it out? Wow.
I've tied it to a knob on my radio so I can actually, you know, kind of do mid flaps, or it's actually kind of like a flap channel, but I use it as a flap. But
Wow.
I can swing the wings back.
So do you feel a big difference when the wing actually comes out? When
It's
you
a little
fly?
more sensitive when the wings are swept back. You've got
Okay.
a little more authority this way, of course, a little more lift, but it's kind of cool to watch it happen in
Wow.
flight.
So, and what are you running this with, a receiver, or receiver-wise? Is it a special receiver that's in here? Or?
It's just a regular receiver. We're running this on a 3S 2200.
Okay.
And the receiver is kind of buried in the back. So we've developed all these special hatches and stuff to let you get into some of these things. Let's see here if I can remember how to get
Oh yeah, check that out.
And then the receiver's right here.
Okay. So it's not even nothing special or aura system or anything. It's just a standard.
Just a standard, standard spektrum receiver.
And as for any stabilization, so
Nope.
no stabilization, huh? So
And I think that was part of the one thing. That's why it's got a fractured nose here.
learning.
Fly or die, should have been doing this back in the
Yeah,
day,
really.
but we couldn't figure it out, and we finally dialed it in and got it repaired. I've just got a little bit of painting left to do to top it off. But
So, and is this one also just a standard receiver? Oh, yeah, it is.
It
I
is.
see it on the inside
Yeah.
there. So you can see the EDF on the bottom, and he's actually got a built area around here to enclose the EDF.
kind of give it a little more ducted fan kind of effect, but it works out pretty well.
But you need to do more of these.
I know.
This is really cool.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to add me to this list. I need
Okay.
one of these. Great. So the last thing I want to talk about is kind of why do you like doing this? I mean, there's a lot of time involved.
Sure, there is.
And
there
what
is.
does this do for you?
For me, it's kind of a release. You know, like people like to hunt, and some people like to fish, and everything else. And I've done those both as well. But to me, this is just I love airplanes, and I love what I get out of this, and the satisfaction of taking something up that I've put together, or kind of, you know, a lot of these kits you buy, they're already somewhat put together. But just the thrill of flying, I think.
And I think also that we don't mention is that being there with everybody.
There's a lot of camaraderie with being
Yeah,
there with all
yeah.
the people and your friends and stuff. Too.
Yeah,
so
I think-
I've met
I
some
think
great
that's a-
friends from flying. So some of my best friends from flying. So I think it's a great sport, a
Yeah.
great hobby, shall we say? That I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
And
we've got-
is there a favorite that you like to fly?
I would say probably EDFs are probably my biggest deal here, but you know, I started off with, say, a Mustang, and I'm into warbirds more than anything else.
Okay.
And some of the civilian jets and stuff are pretty cool. I'd say probably the jets are probably my favorite.
Okay,
I really
great.
get a kick out of those, and it's just the technology that's there, and just the speed, and it's just cool. I guess is the best way to put it.
And again, and please check out his channel. I'll have the link below, and go check out and also subscribe to his channel would be great.
Also, check out Mike's channel. This is great. I've loved all his videos so far, so definitely subscribe and like his channels.
Great. We'll see you guys on the next at the next hangar or the next event, and we'll see you next time. Take care.